Hey guys, in this video I'll be comparing Hadi and Samson Dauda at the 2024 Arnold UK. Both showed up in great shape, with Hadi bringing in a shredded, slightly less full look, and Samson coming in improved from the Arnold Ohio. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out, since Hadi is slightly worse due to, travel and visa complications and stress, while Samson was able to peak better than last time. Anyways, before the video does start, a like and sub would really help out the channel, and a follow on my Instagram would be much appreciated. With that all being said though, let's get into this video. Alright, the first pose of the front double is a structurally superior pose for Samson, while it is an impressive one for Hadi in terms of, sheer density. Both have massive separated quads, large arms, and tight and controlled midsections with solid vacuums. Hadi has those peaky biceps and superb separation in the arms, plus better, more flared and lower inserted lats, which helps accentuate his taper. Although Samson doesn't have the same peakiness to the biceps or the clean arm separation, his arms are massive and his X-frame is arguably more impressive due to his larger limb proportions. He has larger quads and arms from that, length perspective, and he isn't too far behind in conditioning as well. I do prefer Samson in this pose though, because he has amazing lines, his structure is very dominant, and his conditioning is on point. He objectively outsizes Hadi in terms of raw size. However, Hadi's great conditioning, freaky quads, and superior muscle quality may be rewarded by the judges in this pose. The front lat spread was a pose that I had Hadi winning against Samson at the Arnold Ohio. However, now Samson appears to have better control over his midsection. His arms, delts, and chest all look twice as large and full as Hadi's, and his lats look much more filled out. To be fair, this camera angle is more favorable for Samson, as it hides the fact that his lats are highly inserted. However, the disparities in the chest, arms, and delts are still evident between the two. Once again, the quads look great for both. However, Hadi's don't have the same sting that they did a week ago, or 2 weeks ago rather. By no means does that mean that his quads are bad though. If anything, they are more impressive on his smaller frame than Samson's are. However, Samson's show similar detail, and they also have better proportions. Furthermore, his excellent calves only add to those proportions, being superior for Samson. Both are wide, densely muscled, and in solid condition. However, I do prefer the taller, fuller, and more aesthetic physique, and in that case, it would be Samson. The side chest is always an interesting pose, since Samson always showcases a tremendous side chest in the gym photo updates, and honestly, I think that he was able to almost replicate that look here. His side leg is absolutely gnarly, looking twice as big as Hadi's, showing tremendous detail as well, and just looking out of this world. But still, Hadi does out-detail him in the side leg, especially in the depth to the cuts in the glutes and the overall thinness of the skin. However, Samson really isn't that far behind. Hadi's advantage over Samson in the pose at the Arnold Ohio was his midsection control and detail, combined with his arm and chest condition. However, Samson looks drier and more detailed now in the arm compared to 2 weeks ago, and shows similar but not as deep striations in the far pec. Hadi does still have the superior midsection, presenting more control and detail. However, Samson is improved in that area as well. It really does come down to a battle of fullness versus dry and conditioned, so take your pick. I probably would go with Samson, since his fullness and conditioning are pretty solid. However, I would not be surprised if Hadi won the pose. He is too complete and conditioned to go unnoticed, and I think the judges may take that into account. The rear double winner should really not be a surprise, as I can be very confident in Hadi winning here. His back is the same size in terms of width of the taller guy, but presents lower, thicker lats, denser traps, and a thicker lower back. His delts from behind are comparable as well, especially the lateral and rear delt. I would definitely say that Samson does win in the arms though. From a mass standpoint, Samson is actually very impressive in the back conditioning as well, surprisingly looking sharper in the lower back than Hadi. However, his downfall is really in the lower body conditioning. While this may just be one of the best Samsons I've ever seen, he still lacks the strided glutes, and his hamstrings aren't as defined as Hadi's. This is an area that Hadi easily capitalizes off of, destroying Samson in the conditioning and matching him in size. Like I said earlier, it should not be a surprise. Hadi wins this pose easily. Going into the rear lat spread, it actually seems to be much closer than in the last pose. Samson's back presents much better in this shot, showcasing larger traps, similar lower back thickness, and similar definition overall. Hadi looks great as well. However, I can't necessarily pinpoint a place in the upper body where he demolishes Samson. He does have slightly wider lats, however, that's not really a slam dunk victory in the upper half. Going downstairs though, you can really see where Hadi takes the pose once again. Hadi's glutes and hamstrings are so much more peeled and defined, which is really a problem for Samson. I gotta give him credit though, Samson's hamstrings and calves are super good, however his glutes are so soft. To be honest, if Samson had glutes like Hadi, the shock of seeing that on his physique would be enough to give him the win. As it is though, I think Hadi's going to take both of the back poses. When I saw Hadi hit the side tricep in person at the Arnold, Ohio, I genuinely thought it was one of the best poses I've ever seen of the side tricep. I think he's managed to replicate that look here, presenting the craziest looking midsection, a deeply strided far pec, and crazy density and muscle maturity in the arm and delt. Samson does have that massive side leg, similar size in the arm, a fuller chest, and a tight midsection. However, nothing on his physique is as impressive as Hadi's. Samson really does need to improve his posing in my opinion, as a more upright stance could lead to a more dominant and imposing look on the stage. To be honest, I don't think there is much else to say, since Hadi easily takes this pose in my opinion. He's conditioned, muscular, and aesthetic. The only thing he would really need to enhance this look would be more fullness, which would make this pose really insane. Since they don't really sit still and hold the same ab and thigh pose, I'll be replaying all the shots while trying to analyze them. Hadi's midsection, when crunched down, is probably one of the best ever. He has the most detail in the obliques and serratus out of anyone on the open stage today, and his abs are perfectly symmetrical. When he pulls a vacuum, he has a near flawless and deep cavern with a great V-taper. Samson's abs actually do look pretty good, appearing tighter and more controlled, however the split in the middle is pretty unaesthetic. He does pull a vacuum too, which I think is a better look for his physique, as it really improves his taper. Both have great quads with great conditioning, with both showing some level of feathering in them as well. Samson is better in that area, however Hadi easily wins in the midsection and isn't too far behind in the quads, if at all. I'd go with Hadi for the win here in my opinion though, however Samson definitely put up a solid fight. To be fair though, the only person I could ever see beating or really pushing Hadi would be Andrew Jacked, however even he doesn't have the same detail in the midsection as Hadi does. The most muscular is interesting as at the Arnold, Ohio, Samson didn't show that much arm detail and his midsection looked a bit worse. Here though, he is full, separated in the chest and arms, and presents some insane quads. Hadi easily wins in the midsection though, once again, for the same reasons as in the ab and thigh. However, although his chest is extremely separated and strided to a T, I don't know if he necessarily wins in that area. Samson isn't as conditioned, however, he is like twice as thick. I'd probably give him the chest actually, since there is no way Hadi's flat chest wins solely off of conditioning. That being said, Hadi does win in the arms, showcasing more detail and vascularity, and battles in the quads as well. When I look at these two, I am immediately drawn to Hadi for his detail and freaky midsection and quads, which I think is what the judges think as well. I think that they would give him this pose for his mind-blowing conditioning and solid density everywhere but in the chest. Samson looks great, big and full, especially in the chest and arms. However, standing next to Hadi exposes his conditioning, and he doesn't really outmuscle Hadi either. Alright guys, that about does it for this video. In short, I had this one ending in a 5-3 win for Hadi. Samson won the first 3 poses, while Hadi won the last 5. I think that the poses which Hadi won were more convincing than the ones that Samson won, and shots like the front double were extremely close between them. I would be very surprised if Samson actually took this win, however, I wouldn't be shocked since the package was much better than the one at the Arnold, Ohio. Let me know down below though, who do you think is winning this comparison? With that all being said, I hope you all enjoyed this video and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.